Welcome to the Sinners.
Hey there.
I am so honored to get to interview you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Good.
So we always start off with one question that the fans just love to know.
Do they?
They do!
Or is this you?
A little of both. So, what is your favorite kind of ice cream?
Thankfully, I was prepared for this. I would have to say rainbow sherbet.
See, you cheated because you already saw one of our interviews.
Aha. Well, it's not like that's like, a tough question anyway.
We've actually had people that were stumped by it.
Well, I think they're probably more some like wondering why you're asking.
The whole reason is because a guest actually made a joke that somebody had interviewed him and it was their first interview, and the first question they gave was, "What's your favorite kind of ice cream?"
Right. And, well, see, because it's funny because like when I do conventions, every once in a while, I will start out the panel by saying, "Okay, no questions with the word favorite, best, or like all these you know uh, generic sort of overall things." Because I had a guy sit down with me one time and start asking me. I mean, favorite ice cream is actually a question that can lead somewhere because that may be, oh, it's the thing I was always able to never able to eat when I was a kid and now I eat it all the time. Like that's an actual thing. But like, what kind of tree do you see yourself in? Like questions where someone is just trying to be clever and the answer doesn't really matter. It's just that they got out this really clever, wacky sounding question. And I actually stopped the guy in an interview. I'm like, is that something you actually want to know? Like, are you such a huge tree fan that you want to know how I feel about trees? And it was like, well, it's like, and I stopped and I said, is there anything I've worked on that matters to you? He's like, yeah, I love Futurama. I was like, is there something you've always wanted to know about Futurama that someone who's worked on every episode of it might know? Wouldn't that be a much better question than something about bloody trees that neither of us care about?
I'm gonna have to use the tree one though. Thank you.
You're gonna replace the ice cream replace the ice cream question with a tree question?
I don't know. Everyone loves the ice cream question.
Well, that's because the ice cream question is a good one.
I never thought someone would actually ask that kind of thing.
Well, no, but see, the thing is the follow up. Why? Why is rainbow sherbet my favorite ice cream flavor?
Well,
Because I killed a man once. So no, no, because when I was little, I was lactose intolerant and could not eat any ice cream except sherbet.
wow.
See, there's a story. You gotta dig. You gotta flip the rock.
But then again, sherbet is yummy.
Of course.
See, I always thought sherbet had milk in it. I guess not.
Um, if it does, it has less. Because like regular ice cream would like make me a little nauseous,
I,
and sherbet never did. And also, the sherbet is just like 10 times sweeter.
that is true.
Although I did say sherbet for years, and I still can't get used to the idea that there is no second R in that word.
That's okay. I say idea, and everyone goes nuts, going, "It's idea, not idea."
Do you say warsh?
I don't, but I do know somebody that does. I know somebody that goes wata,
Wait, wanna?
wata.
Oh, wada. Oh, where are you from originally?
I'm from New York.
Oh, what are you doing in Florida?
Family, sadly.
They put you in a box and dragged you down to Sarasota. Oh.
They literally did. Actually, when we came here, it was the one of the only times it ever snowed here. As soon as we got off the plane, it started snowing, and people were flipping out
Wow.
because, Floridians who come from the north don't know what to do when there's snow.
Well, that's bizarre. I never would have imagined there was ever any snow anywhere in Florida.
Every so often, but it just doesn't last.
Right. Interesting.
Oh, you're making everyone swoon.
What did I do?
Just you talking.
Oh, okay. Well, oh, that's right. They can hear me, can't they?
Yes, they can.
Well, then I should use a better voice. There we go. That's much better. Now, what would you like to ask?
Well, I'm going to ask. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Isn't that much better?
I like your normal voice.
No. No. Boo. No
uh,
one, no one likes normalcy.
well, then if you're going to use a voice, maybe I should use this voice.
There you go. Uh-oh. What did I do? I've logged on to. Oh, there we go. Could you hear that?
A little bit.
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm going to ask the fans' questions first, and then I'll
Okay.
get to mine. Vampire Mob asked, what do you love about what you do?
Um. That's a good question. I love the freedom to create. Um, I used to like to draw, um, but it takes me so much time to create something of substance, with pencil and paper. And I can never get through the backgrounds, so it always feels incomplete. But with acting, I just have my one small section of it, and then there are like all these other people who help create a full thing. Now, granted, with animation, it takes a year, um, but that to me is the best part of it, is getting to tap into this part of your brain. We're like, okay, how do I make this real or matter, or how do I create this character? Like, what would this person sound like if they were real? And for me, that challenge is exciting, and the flexing of those muscles just really is a lot of fun.
Now, do you still draw?
Um, yeah, not really.
Oh,
Occasionally I'll doodle, but you know, you get to a certain, especially like as a comic book fan, like if you do a little doodle, you just know that it could be so much more. And I have friends who are such amazing artists. It becomes hard to dabble when you know what it could be. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, why bother? I'm not Bill Sienkiewicz. You know.
I was always taught any drawing is a good drawing.
Yeah, I guess. But is that like any drawing is a good drawing? There are no such things as stupid questions. Do you
Oh,
believe that? Do you believe there's no such thing as a stupid question?
I do not. I used to be a teacher for a little while, and I've actually told a student, you know what? You have found the stupid question. Congratulations.
That's funny. No, and I believe it too. There are stupid questions. There are things that don't need to be said. Um, but usually, if something's thought out, it's not a stupid question. But anyway, um, yeah, I don't know. I'd rather read a comic than draw.
I'm with you there. You gotta, well, except some of the newer comics. Like,
What do you consider the what do you mean?
some of the stuff from DC right now is a little hit or miss for me.
Oh well, it's always been.
True.
I remember when the new 52 came out, I was sort of beside myself. Not because they were revamping everything. That I loved. I am a continuity heretic. I mean, to me, one of the best things about the Justice League series was they took the stuff from the comics that worked and threw out all the stuff that didn't. You know, like why do you have to be tied to some storyline or some character, you know, that was a result of a toy deal in 1978? You know, it's like, no, we're just going to get rid of that. And I mean, people have been rewriting stories for eons. I mean, that's what Shakespeare did. Shakespeare became a legend rewriting. Like 9 out of 10 of his characters are not original. You know, he took a story and like, let me tweak this. Let me make this a little better. What if Hamlet, you know, didn't have a sister? You know, I don't know. I'm rambling.
That's
You
fine.
go. Tell me. Questions. What are people saying?
All right, so Just Dale asks, when you voiced Jazz in Transformers Animated, did you feel the magic of Scott Crothers, the first voice?
Scatman Brothers, Tia. Come on.
I'm sorry.
Have you ever seen The Shining?
I have.
Scatman Crothers is the old fellow who works in the hotel. Oh, you got a shine to you. The guy who shares the psychic power with the kid?
Yeah, I didn't even realize he voiced in Transformers.
He was the original Jazz. He also did most of the voices, I think, for the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon, which is hilarious because he's got such a distinctive voice, but he was doing like multiple characters. Hey, Metalluck! Yeah! You know, so he's like talking to himself. It was funny. But no, he is such a distinct voice and such a distinct performer that it was weird to do Jazz and not do an impression. I do think a little bit of him snuck in to my Jazz, but they specifically said they don't want it to sound like Scatman Crothers. But to me, I mean, it's Scatman Crothers and a character named Jazz. You had to have a little bit of that jazziness. I mean, because when he played jazz, he was a jazz man, you know. So for me, there was a little bit of a jazz musician vibe to the character when I played it. Since I couldn't do the voice, I just tried to bring a little bit of the energy.
And you certainly did.
Oh, you don't even know who he is.
I know who Jazz is. I'm a huge Transformers fan.
Oh, you know who Jazz is. Okay, good.
I was going to say, I have a little Optimus figure right here on my desk.
Now, see, that was the thing that blew my mind about doing Transformers is that there are so many like iterations of Transformers. You know, it's like it makes Star Trek look like, you know, nothing.
Were you into G1 before you got the part?
No, I had never really experienced. I actually had to I picked up a couple of comics, watched some stuff online just to try to get a sense of the world, and that's where I realized like, wait, where do you start with Wait, oh, this is Like if you Google Transformers, like you get so much stuff. I'm like, wait, Beast Wars is Transformers, but those are animals. Well, oh, the animals are robots, and the robots are okay. What? You know, it was really hard to get your head around.
So do you do a lot of studying for all of the characters that you play?
Not necessarily. It depends. Well, it's funny because there's a game that just came out in September called Shadow of Mordor, and I voice an orc named Ratbag. Ratbag the orc. You know, he's got one of these things going. Yeah. And he sort of is a semi-nemesis, semi-sidekick to the main character, played by Troy Baker. I did no research at all for that. I mean, except for reading Tolkien since I was 10. I mean, really, to play an orc, what research do you need, right?
True.
You know, although I did wind up learning a lot just over the course of working on it, because I don't know if anybody there has played or seen some of the online stuff of Shadow of Mordor. it is what you call a deep cut. Like it's Silmarillion type, depth in the Tolkien world. Like one of the characters is the ghost of the elf who was tricked by Sauron into creating the One Ring. That's like a character in the game, you know.
See, I've only seen a little bit of the game because I'm hoping to get it for Christmas.
What console do you have, or do you play computer?
I play PlayStation 3, a computer, and the Wii U. I'm hoping to get a PlayStation 4 eventually.
I know that's the thing. Yeah, I have the PS3 too, so I'm still waiting to play the game. Like, I don't think the PS3 version. I don't know if it's come out yet. They said it was coming out in November, but I don't know. Um, What am I rambling on about? Oh, research. No. And scene.
Now, I have a Futurama question.
Do you?
I do.
Is it your own personal question?
It is.
Okay, go for it.
Playing the character for so long, did you, when you were voicing it, did you ever stop and look at the script and go, I don't think he would say that? Or anything like that?
Oh, hmm. Um, I don't think so. Mm, no, no. I mean, it was this, and I'm trying to think about why that was, because there's certainly been cases where I played a character for less than 10 years where I said that. Um, I think part of it was just the nature of the show and the nature of the writing. There are always new discoveries about the characters and these left turns, like I think we're probably 2 seasons in before the animosity between Zoidberg and Hermes showed up, maybe even longer. And I remember when that first started, I'm like, so wait, is he mad at Zoidberg? I think I probably asked a question about it, but it was funny, so I'm like, all right, fine. And then that became like, one of the underpinnings of the character. Um, Damn you, you stinking crab! Um, but yeah, I think not. Also, all those writers are like Harvard PhDs and stuff. It's very hard to question those guys. So they'll come at you with some sort of, you know, theorem that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, that probably is right. Okay, sorry.
How did it feel getting? Did you actually get to talk to the writers and work closely with them at all?
Yeah. David X. Cohen and Matt Groening was very good about including the writers of the episodes. And also, it was great because we always got to do a table read of every Futurama episode, which means you get all of the writers, all of the actors, and whoever else wants to come around a table, and you read through the script from start to finish to hear how it sounds all together. You know, because with animation, it's such a long process, and it's such a segmented kind of assembly line that it's very easy to lose sight of the whole thing. But I guess between when they come up with an idea and before we record it, they sort of chunk it together in this way so we can at least hear it in real time to see if the jokes work, how the lines sound bouncing off each other, and you find out whether it's actually funny. And the writer would always be there for that and get introduced, and everybody would clap for him. So you got to meet the writers in a way that for a lot of animated shows, I don't. I'll have people come up to me. It's like, hey, we worked together on this animated show. I'm like, I've never seen you before in my life. But cool. Nice to meet you 7 years later. But yeah, Futurama was different in the sense that they really tried to give a sense of community to the whole, to every end of the production. So that was nice.
It sounded like you guys were one big happy family.
Well, I mean, we were very, very fortunate to be able to, do that for an extended period of time. And we were also lucky when we got canceled and came back, we were able to get most of the people, the same animation company, most of the writing staff, all of the cast back together, which is not, not a foregone conclusion. It could have easily, they could have easily tried to trim the cast down or replace people, or, the animation studio may not have been available. All of a sudden you had a different, style of animation. I mean, anything could have gone wrong, you know, but we're lucky.
Now, how does it feel knowing Futurama probably won't be coming back?
Um, it's a bummer. I mean, anytime you lose a good job, that's not fun. Um, but you know, you have to sort of look at it from a positive standpoint. And anytime you do a TV show that continues for any number of seasons, that's like a lottery win. And for us to get canceled and then come back, that's a double lottery win. I certainly can't look a gift horse in the mouth and say, "What? We don't get to come back from the dead twice? How dare you?" You know, you can't be greedy.
That is true. And it is. I'm so. How did it feel knowing the fans were demanding so much that you guys came back the first when you came back the first time? That it was because the fans were demanding it like crazy.
Well, okay, now here's uh, it's not because the fans demand. See, people I think get this, the online petition says this and that. It that's nice, but really what it was the DVDs were selling like crazy. And Fox realized, oh geez, we left a bag of money sitting on a table. Let's go back and get that, shall we? You know, I mean, passion is great, but money speaks much, much louder than passion, you know? And it's so funny when a TV show gets canceled, people like, oh, online petition for, pushing daisies. Like, sorry, there's no money there. If you guys were like buying Pushing Daisies t-shirts, by the barrel full, maybe somebody would do something. But yeah, no, it is always money, Vampire Mom.
Now we know the truth. Now, Dan asked, how was it playing Static Shock?
That was great. That was one of my first um, series that I did. I think we'd done Weekenders. Um, I feel like Static Shock started working on that before Samurai Jack. Um,
Hmm.
but as a comic book fan, it was just great. I mean, I got to play a superhero, but also, as an African American, it was great to play somebody relatable and like to do something that I would have loved to have had as a kid. One, just as an image, to see a face that looks like me, because when I was growing up, that was rare to, non-existent, um, especially in animation and especially in superhero animation. Um, and also the fact that it was a really, really good show with great people was, icing on a really wonderful cake.
There's a question I kind of want to ask, but I'm not sure if you'd be able to answer it.
Is it in Japanese? Then no,
No.
I will not be able to answer it if you ask it in Japanese.
It's about why Static Shock was canceled. Was it because it wasn't popular, or was I've heard the rumor of it being something else?
Oh, I don't know. It's probably started by me. Um, from what I understand, no, the fact of the matter is we were number one in our time slot on Saturday mornings. Um, and uh, and we had won a Humanitas Award for an episode about a kid having a gun in school, and the show was great. Now, what I've been told is that um, before the show was launched, they tried to get a toy deal and were told by whoever, I don't know, toy companies or toy representatives in general, there's no market for this kind of character. Then the show went on the air and did really, really well and had tons of viewers. And then, but apparently in Saturday morning animation, they don't really care about ratings. What they care about is merchandise. So you can have a show that not that many people are watching, but if it's selling tons of dolls and toys and, Legos, then it's on. But we had no toys to sell because of previous conversation, because there is no market. So there was no market. We demonstrated that there was a market, and in fact, people who appreciated this character, but then there was nothing to sell them. So since we weren't getting money from those people, we were canceled.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense than what the rumor on the internet is.
Oh, what was the rumor on the internet?
That the sidekick, and I forgot his name, which is, I'm gonna get smacked by a friend for that.
Gear.
Yeah, was gay. And they were going to do an episode where he comes out, and apparently that got them instant canceled.
Yeah, no.
See, guys, now you know the truth.
That's really funny because I'm trying to imagine if that's even possible, and it isn't. It is not, in fact, in network television, because because the thing is, before they pay somebody to write an episode, they have to sign off on whether they like that episode. So it's not like the people making the show secretly animated this gay episode and we're going to sneak it onto the air. The network said, "What? What are you doing? Shut down everything." That is unfortunately not how it works.
That would be awesome, though.
Exactly. We've been underneath the studio secretly animating. That would be funny.
There you go, guys. So you can go ahead and take that rumor and put it as false.
I'm going to tell Jason Marsden about that. That's almost as good as I went to speak to my college alma mater a few years after Pulp Fiction, and a kid came up to me and said, "Is it true that the reason Marcellus Wallace had the Band-Aid on the back of his head is that the soul is taken from the base of the neck and that's what was inside the briefcase?" I'm like, that's really interesting, but no, the fact of the matter is that Ving Rhames shaves his own head and it's really hard to see the back of your head. And he cut himself. And that's why he was wearing, and Tarantino thought it would be really cool to shoot just from the back of his head and have this little Band-Aid there and have people wonder and probably make up conspiracy theories about it.
And so the internet was born.
Exactly.
Now, Vamp is asking, do you still do sketch and improv?
Yes. Actually, I have a show tonight. I do. I was a member of the Groundlings for many years. I came into the company with Jennifer Coolidge and a lot of other talented people. But I do a show every other Monday with Cedric Yarborough from Reno 911, Gary Anthony Williams from Malcolm in the Middle, and Jordan Black and from Riot, and Daniel Gaither from Mad TV. We do an improv show called The Black Version, where it's an all-black cast, and we get a suggestion from the audience of a classic or iconic movie, and then we improvise the quote-unquote black version of it. I don't talk like this while I'm doing that.
I kind of wish I could see it. It sounds like it'd be hilarious.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's really funny.
Now, do you actually have any conventions coming up at the beginning of next year?
Yes, at the very beginning of next year, I'm going to Ichiban Con in, is it in Charlotte? Somewhere in North Carolina. Although I think I agreed to this before I realized that I would be going there in January. And it's like, oh, that's going to be super cold. But, what are you going to do? Oh, it's in Concord. North Carolina, January 1st through 4th.
See, everyone in North Carolina, go see him. I wish I could.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because an anime convention, and every once in a while, I get asked to attend one, and I'm always a little bit confused because I mean, I've never done any real anime. Um, Not like Crispin. I can't do. I wish I could do Crispin Freeman's voice. Um, but so I'm always whenever I go, I'm like, is anybody gonna care that I'm here? You know, I mean, Samurai Jack has stylistic similarities to anime, but it's not real. Not the real thing. So I don't know.
Shh, don't tell the anime fans that. They may revolt.
I mean, every time I go, people are lovely.
Well, let's hope you come to Florida again next year because I missed seeing you when you were here.
Oh yeah, where were you?
I was sick. I was at the con and I was standing in line, but I got sick and I had to get rushed to the hospital.
Holy moly!
Bad medicine reaction.
Oh no, that's terrible. Did you get good medicine, or did they just give you so much bad medicine that it's
They
like, oh,
eventually gave me good medicine.
just used to it? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Which con was that? Was that Metro?
Yeah, MetroCon.
Oh, okay. It honestly seems like Florida has a con for every 12 people. Is that just my imagination?
We have a lot of cons.
I mean, it's a big state, but like California doesn't have as many conventions as Florida. I wonder why that is.
Well, we are a tourist state.
Yeah. Ooh. Am I allowed to answer any of the questions that come up? I'm
You
see-
are. Oh, that's
uh,
right. You're in the chat, aren't you?
Am I? Do I show up? Am I visible?
Let's see.
Shh! Don't tell them I'm here.
All right, I won't. But yeah, you're free to answer any questions you want from them.
No, it did not strain my voice to play Vulgrim. Um, Although it's funny because every time I did it, I kept thinking of Mark Hamill. To me, it was Vulgrim was such a Mark Hamill voice. You know. Um, Would you like to buy something here? But yes, no. The best thing about that, anytime I can play a character in a video game that calls in from the base or runs the store, I'm happy because that means I don't get killed. Like even if your character wants to bring out the flamethrower, they're not going to let you blow me up. So that means I don't have to do any death screams or electrocutions or anything like that. And Vulgrim was one of those.
Does it say on your resume under video games, only store owners?
No, because, every once in a while you gotta, expand a little bit. What else? Somebody asked if I did any Marvel superheroes. What, is your Google broke?
Apparently.
Apparently so. It's like, you know what? My fingers hurt. I can't scroll down on IMDb. Can you just tell me what's on the lower part of the page?
They expect you to do everything. Don't you know that?
Well, the funny thing is, if somebody comes up to you and is like, hey, are you an actor? Like, yeah. It's like, what have I seen you on? Like, I don't know what you watch. Like, and sometimes I will like quiz people like, okay, so do you have children? Do you play video games? Or you sort of like profile the person. Like if it's a middle-aged person, like middle-aged woman, I'm like, Castle. If it's somebody with tattoos, I'm like Metal Gear. But I hate to do that. That's why I gave up my police badge so I could stop profiling people.
That's when you start messing with them and you just say you've been all these really white people and you're like, I was him.
But I have. I was Bulby on Jimmy Neutron. Bulby worship giant space rock.
I remember that character.
I had somebody a couple months ago say, You do so many black characters. I'm like, well, I've done. I would say I probably do more black characters than not, but I've also done a lot of characters that aren't black because I can.
There you go.
Yeah, Sam B definitely there were death screams. Like anytime you're a player character, you got to do something. But again, not as many as like uh, a villain character or a boss or something, because those characters are made to be killed. If you're the player character, you die and the game's over. You know, so you just go ah. But if you're the boss character, you got to die a couple of different ways. You know.
Have you ever actually blown out your voice doing any voice acting?
Yes, yes. And it was a really crappy game and a really lame part. I think I was like a cop in the background on a Terminator game years and years ago. And it was first thing in the morning. And because it's a Terminator game, you know you get really, really killed. So it was like half an hour of nothing but death screams, and my voice was gone. I do play games. I play mostly fighting games. Um, Although I need a new Tekken. I need a new Tekken. Or really, what I'll spend the vast majority of my time is playing MLB The Show. Because during baseball season, I will try to replay games that the Dodgers lose to make them win. And then during the off season, this is good. This is really lame. Um, as trades, and this is going to be really boring to anybody who is not into baseball, but as trades are made over the course of the offseason, I will adjust the teams and sort of play the season to come with the people as the teams change. So, like right now, I'm going to go move Pablo Sandoval from San Francisco to the Red Sox, and then see if they can beat the Yankees without Derek Jeter. Yeah, yeah. You thought fantasy football was geeky. Woo-hoo!
I think you might have lost everyone as soon as you mentioned baseball. They were like, "What's that? We've never been out of our house."
Yay, sports!
That's the thing where you kick a field goal, right?
Exactly. Wait, wait,
Now,
wait. Wait, Just Tale 18 said, "Oh, I just remembered you voiced Gambit." Did you actually remember it, or did you go look it up?
oh,
See
don't make
this?
him feel bad for looking it up.
No, 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 no. But like, just admit you looked it up. I told him to go look it up. Just say, "Oh, I went and looked it up." So now, okay, now we're gonna switch voices. Look, the thing about it is, I don't know whose voice that is.
Stereotypical black man number 17.
Hey, it could be Sam B. Now, see, here's the thing. Stereotype. See, to me, there's a difference between typical and stereotypical. And really, the difference is in the execution. Like, I was listening to the Howard Stern show the other day, and he was doing the voice he did as a kid when he went to an all black high school. And that was stereotype. Like, hey, man, what you doing, man? Sid, I want you to. You know, it was like, that's horrible. You know, because it's inaccurate. You know, but there are like there are things that are typical. Like, it's like, but what you don't want to do is like, hi, I'm a typical Southerner. I'm from the South. Like, what is that? Who is that? Have you ever heard British people do a bad American accent?
Yes.
Well, hello there. Welcome to America. I love it here and I want a hamburger. Like, the thing, as an American, you listen to that and you go, okay, I know what you're trying to do, but that doesn't sound like any particular person in America. That's the difference between, that's a stereotypical voice as opposed to a typical voice. Right? Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Yeah, it does. You
Have I completely hijacked this?
you have educated. Yes, you have, and that's fine with me. I kind of have a feeling I know how the Cards Against Humanity game's gonna be.
Yeah, what is the online one? Is it
Um,
is it called Cards Against Humanity, or is it called something else?
it's called something else because they couldn't get the rights to use the name, but it is all the decks from the actual game.
And does it cost like $25?
No, thankfully it's free.
Oh, God bless the internet. Until the Supreme Court sells it to the corporations. Enjoy it now, kids.
Oh, I'm so sick of hearing about that.
Hey, you know what? There will come a time when you will look at like teenagers when you're older and go, there was a time when stuff on the internet used to be free. They'll go, what? You're crazy, Grandpa.
We once had a stream where we were telling people, because we have a couple younger in the audience, what a cassette is. And that computers used to fill an entire room.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Although, I mean, none of us are old enough for that. Although my father-in-law did work on the old computers and will tell stories of how it took up an entire floor of the building and they could only run it for 3 hours before it got too hot. And all it did was add.
I remember I've heard stories, because my grandpa used to be in the Navy, so I would hear stories about the computers the Navy would use back in the 70s and stuff. It's like, whoa. Couldn't do much. I don't care. I want to see it.
Right. That's funny. I've lost track of the stream. Is anything good? Did anybody ask anything good?
Well, they're happy that you're going to come for Cards Against Humanity. Hopefully.
Yes.
See, now all we got to do is get you addicted to Minecraft.
Yeah, no. That's not going to happen.
Smart man.
It takes too long.
But it's so much fun when you're playing with other people and pushing them off cliffs. I mean, helping them build things.
Yes, but aren't they all 9 years old?
Not my group.
Really?
Yeah.
See, this is my I have this weird prejudice against online gaming. And I don't know where it comes from exactly. But
Call of Duty.
No, it's the idea of like playing with people I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm afraid of being judged for not playing well enough, although that's definitely a big fear of mine. Or if I'm just afraid that everyone who says they're like, a 14-year-old girl is actually like a 68-year-old guy in Ohio. It just like, well, what's the difference? Like, well, I don't know. For some reason, it matters. The masks that we could all wear online scare me.
Well, everyone knows there's no actual females on the internet. I'm really a guy. No, please, no one start that, please.
Don't start that rumor.
That's already a rumor. There's one girl heard my channel and goes, "You are the cutest gay guy." I'm like, I'm a girl. You can't be a girl with that voice.
What?
Yeah. I was like, oh, great.
That okay. Maybe she's got bad speakers. That's weird. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant maybe she has bad. Because of course we know that wasn't really a girl who said that to you.
More than likely, yeah.
There's just 7 heavy-set guys who don't shave. That's the entire internet.
What cartoon? There was a cartoon where they showed a convention and somebody yells, "Who's manning the internet?" I can't help but think about that every time I go to a convention.
Seriously. Wouldn't that be funny if, like, someone should chart that, like whether, like, internet bandwidth like freeze up when there's a convention in town. Wait. Somebody asked about Guys and Dolls. That was a play I did my senior year in college. It still blows my mind that anyone knows about that. That's very strange. Yeah, it was just a play. You did a musical in college. I don't know. There's not really any story to it. except that what, two of the people in that cast are now in the cast of Scandal. That's really the only interesting thing about that. And one of them is John Hamm's common law wife.
Cool.
Anything else? Oh, and I did not dance. Oh, no, no, that's not true. I did dance in it. Slightly danced. I was a slightly dancer, and I wore a fat suit.
Now, do you like to dance?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a dancer, but I like to dance.
Can we get you in a tutu and on webcam dancing?
No,
Aw.
nope, not gonna happen.
You
Not
say
gonna,
that now.
not gonna that. No, you know what? I don't know. I'm really like when the ALS the ice bucket challenge was going around. I donated. Yeah, I'm not dumping ice on myself. I don't know why. I'm just I think Mad TV sort of got all of my embarrassment out, or like my self mockery and embarrassment. And like since then, I've just been like, I'm not gonna put a wig on. I'm done. Oh, somebody speaking of Mad TV, somebody asked about the UPS guy. That was a character that I did on stage at the Groundlings, and I was always so annoyed because the producers at Mad TV always thought the character was about jumping around. I'm like, no, it's not what it's about. It's about somebody whose obliviousness makes them invulnerable. Because, like, I don't know, if you're one of these people who like constantly thinks about how other people are perceiving you and worries what they're thinking about you, the idea of not caring or just not even knowing that other people might have a negative opinion about you is such a freeing idea. Like, wow, what if I could just walk into any situation and not realize that somebody, thought badly of me? I could do anything, you know. But that was the idea. It's like a guy. The original concept was a guy hitting on a woman who's so far out of his league, but he doesn't know it, so he succeeds. And I thought, okay, so she's like a high-powered lawyer woman, like, and it was originally he was going to be a bike messenger because I thought it'd be funny for a guy to try to hit on like a woman way out of his league while wearing like a bike helmet and like those clacky shoes and like bike shorts. But it didn't really make sense. Like no one would let that guy into their office, but a UPS guy can go anywhere. So that's why I became a UPS guy.
Do you miss doing Mad TV?
No, no. I did the first 5 years, and that was enough. I mean, it wasn't. It was some. There were some enormously talented people there in the cast when I was there, and who came in the 8 years after I left. It was on for 8 more years, but it wasn't the best working environment. So no, I don't miss it.
Wow.
I mean, I would love to work with those makeup people, hair people. Like, I'd love to work with all of those people on something else. I mean, especially like, man, I mean, Key and Peele, Nicole Parker, Stephanie Weir, like the people who came on afterwards, were all so talented. But did somebody did Mad TV get canceled? Yes, 6 years ago.
I was gonna say I haven't seen that thing on TV forever.
Well, but it probably, I think it got canceled right about the time a whole generation stopped watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, because originally when we were doing those first 4 years, it was aimed at like 14-year-old boys, who would stay up late at night on a Saturday and watch TV because they weren't going out yet. Now, I would imagine that same audience is just not watching TV.
Everybody's
Right?
watching the internet.
Exactly.
You'd think they put do more web shows. That's what's more popular now.
Well, that's sort of the quote unquote problem they're having with Key and Peele is that more people are watching the sketches on YouTube than are watching them when they air on TV. They keep going, well, there's got to be some way to get these people to watch the box. Is there a way? They like it. You know, I don't know. What do you think?
Less commercials.
Less commercials. Ah, but you're watching commercials on YouTube.
Not if you have ad blocker.
Really?
I must teach you the ways of the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, you can avoid the commercials completely online.
Interesting.
That's
On the on the unpaid stuff, like Hulu, you can't get rid of it.
sometimes. It's like a
There's a
50-50 shot.
so Hulu hack.
Yeah. I mean, my ad blocker stopped it from showing commercials before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Oh, see, because I've been going through the app. Probably that's the problem.
yeah, that'll be the reason.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not going to try it right now because I'm in the middle of something.
I think I know I stopped watching TV because I got sick of just commercials after commercials after commercials.
Well, that's why I'm sick of the internet because there's so many commercials now. Because for me, like the TiVo was the best thing. Like I actually watch fewer commercials when I'm watching TV than when I'm watching stuff online now.
See, now people are going to start migrating back to the TV.
Because they can fast forward through them. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird deal. Now I'm going to get like probably a little too heavy, but no, as someone who I don't want to say an artist, but someone who works in show business, which is the business of making entertainment for a living. It's this very weird deal because we kind of need the soap sellers in order for us to make a living wage. You know, otherwise, because the thing is, the Screen Actors Guild has, what did they say? They said 9% of the hundreds of thousands of people in the union, 9% make a living solely from their acting. And only 1% are working at any given day of the week. So like 1% of us are actually doing something today. And if it were like, like a meter on a cab, like, hey, I'm acting, pay me for it, you'd work. You wouldn't, there's not enough work. The weird thing about this dinosaur of corporate, entertainment is it allows us to, buy food for at those times when we're not working. And when that, finally collapses, I don't know what's going to happen. I guess hopefully my kids will be out of college by then.
Now, you are working on a web project, are you not?
Which one? Inside the Legend?
See, someone just let me know that. I'm afraid I don't know the name of it. Don't hit me, please.
Yeah, no, I did a web series with a woman named Vanessa Ragland, who's really hilarious, called Inside the Legend, where it's an interview show, but we interview like any character from history, mythology, literature, anything, but with like, there's always a weird take. Like we did one episode where Oedipus was the guest, but our Oedipus was a redneck. Because really, who else is going to have sex with his mother? Kind of made sense, right?
Yeah, it does. I've seen Oedipus pop up a lot in kids' media lately. What is with that?
Really?
Yeah, I have several movies I've seen they've made Oedipus jokes, and like you can hear all the parents like, and the kids are laughing because they don't get it, and I'm like, I'm so glad I read that in middle school so I can get that joke.
Exactly. That's funny. Oh.
And somebody said another one was not for hire?
Oh. Yeah. No. I mean, that's my buddy Jeff Berman, who's apparently better at updating the web profile of that project than actually putting it together. Because he called me like 3 years ago and said, "Hey, do you want to be attached to this thing?" I'm like, "Sure." And that was the last I've heard of it. But it keeps moving to the top of the IMDb page as, almost done, in progress. But yeah, I don't know. I've never heard anything about it.
Maybe when you turn 50, it'll be done.
There you go. No, all the age on the internet is a lie.
Everyone's a 9-year-old
Everyone's in, yes.
playing Call of Duty. That's where the joke, by the way, for the that everyone gets afraid of playing games online because of Call of Duty having kids talking about how they love your mother and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, that's another thing is that the online abuse. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's actually not so bad. PC gamers are pretty friendly.
Okay.
You've definitely got to come game with us more. We will teach you the ways of gaming and show you people that are adults and have fun.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
They're asking if you'd come do a web show with us. You guys assume we could pay them.
Oh, wait, you do a web show?
Well, this is technically a web show.
Right, but I mean, like an on-camera filmed one?
Not yet. We've been talking about it.
Oh.
Our one problem is everybody in the group is all around the world.
Ah. So you'd have to do like something like the Guild.
Yeah.
That was. Have you seen that?
I love that. I haven't seen the newest season, but I saw everything up to that. But I absolutely adore the Guild.
And just so brilliantly done because it totally fits. It's not like somebody trying to jam a TV show into the internet. Its form fits the storytelling. Like everybody's just on their webcams, and it doesn't feel like you wish it was something more than it is. You know?
It's basically what the internet really is, especially for gamers.
Right, right.
Especially the neurotic girl, yeah. We're totally not neurotic, not at all.
Right. Not neurotic. Oh, what else? I'm looking. Oh, yes. Weekenders. That was my very first show.
Now, how exactly did you stumble into voice acting?
Um, well, I sort of got into it twice. Once when I was still in high school, I got a job on a cartoon, the Mr. T show, and which was not a very good show. And I usually try not to judge any of the work I've done because I realize that if you show something to 1 million people, for at least just statistically speaking, for one of those people, that thing is going to be the best thing they have ever seen. And who am I to say, oh, that show sucked? But the Mr. T show really did suck. It was a marketing driven idea that was a ripoff of Scooby-Doo. Mr. T was the coach of a gymnastics team that traveled around at meets solving mysteries. And there was a bulldog with a mohawk. Come on. And it was every bit as good as it sounds.
Was it Hanna-Barbera?
No, it was the cheaper company. There was a company called Ruby Spears that was basically like a poor man's Hanna-Barbera.
That's saying a lot considering how much Hanna-Barbera used to cut corners.
Exactly. It's like, well, why do we need a door? If he just goes through the wall, they'll know it's supposed to be a door. No, it wasn't that bad. But later on, after I graduated college and came home to LA to pursue acting, I wound up pursuing voiceover again. I lucked into getting with an agent named Kelly Garner, who was starting out at his voiceover department and he started out my career at the same time. So I was very, very lucky. Plus, we had done the animated stuff on Mad TV, the claymation pieces by Corky Quakenbush. Anybody ever see any of those? You've got to see. If you haven't, you've got to see. There's one called Raging Rudolph.
I remember that one.
Yeah, basically like if Martin Scorsese had done the Rankin Bass holiday claymation movies, and it's just like blood soaked. It was hilarious.
Now you've acted in front of the camera, behind the camera as a voice actor. Which do you prefer?
I prefer things that are good.
All right,
No,
other than things that are good. That's a
no,
given.
no, no. Honestly, that sounds like I'm being glib, but it's absolutely true. To me, Pulp Fiction has more in common with Samurai Jack than it has with, a movie I did called Back by Midnight, which was just awful. Like a good script, good characters, the process is the same. You just take in the words and then you just try to make it real. When you have stuff that's bad, whether it's a bad cartoon, a bad movie, a bad sitcom, it's hard. It's like I won't say it. I was going to say it's like digging a ditch. It's like digging a ditch, but more embarrassing because no one sees you digging a ditch. Everyone sees according to Jim. Um, but yeah, it was, to me, that is the, the thing. If I can find something that is well written and with smart people, that is the joy. That's where it just gets to be fun because smart people give you freedom to create, whatever the medium, whether it's stage or, recorded stuff. And, when something is bad, it's bad. And it doesn't matter what format it's in, what medium, you know?
Now everyone's guys, don't Google it until after we're done, please. Watch us.
Right. Oh, somebody mentioned the Mike Tyson Mysteries. The Mike Tyson Mysteries I haven't seen it yet, but it looks like a total ripoff. I'm sorry, homage to the Mr. T cartoon. If they have him start the cartoon on live action, then it's the exact same thing. But the animation style is the exact same.
Except that one's trying to be bad. I've seen some of it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, our directors did not know he was making bad. But even then when he would give us direction like, you have to end every line up. It gives it energy. It's like, I'm so sorry your dog died? No, I'm so sorry your dog died. Really? You really want me to do it like that? And if you didn't do it like that, he made you do it over. I'm really sorry your dog died. Great.
Are you sure they weren't trying to make it bad on purpose?
I'm almost positive. No, actually, I'm definitely positive because they had great people in sometimes. None of us were great. But one episode, we had like some VO legends. We had June Foray and Paul Winchell, and I think it was Henry Corden, who was the voice of Fred Flintstone. And it was crazy because like we were all these kids and then these grown-ups came in and they had they had cartoon voices. It sounded like they were talking to you in stereo, because their voices were just so much, they weren't like real people voices. They were like voices from TV. And that was also part of it is because they were the voices we had all heard growing up for, centuries.
Lucky.
Yeah. It was really, it was eye-opening. Because the bunch of us doing this cartoon weren't really doing animation, but when they came in, it was like, oh, that's what this could be. Oh, got it. Okay.
Now, do you ever get starstruck even now with people you work with?
Yes. Although usually it'll wind up taking the form of just like shyness, Because,
You shy? No.
well, you just sort of like, I'm just going to stay out of their way. Like, I just worked on a sitcom last week with like this insane cast. There was uh, Will Arnett, Beau Bridges, Jama Mays from Glee. Anybody? Anybody? Um, like, and it's funny because like for me, all of those were like, oh my god, it's the girl from Glee. Um, but also her I was able to talk to. Beau Bridges, I don't. I think I like said two things. Because it's like, okay, hi, second generation Hollywood legend. What am I gonna say to you? How is it having a dad who's a legend? You know, you know. If I can't come up with something good to say. Although the best thing is when you get to just work with them. Like, I got to work with John Travolta after growing up watching John Travolta. Uh, who else? I've gotten to work with Carol Burnett, Adam West. Um, a weird one a few months ago, I worked on a movie with Adam Sandler. And that was odd because it wasn't like somebody I grew up with, but it was just somebody who's like, oh, you're a huge star. I wonder if inside your pants your legs are made of money. You know?
Now, did you ask him that?
I did not.
Aw.
I did not. I basically didn't talk to him. You know?
I'd
But
probably be the same way.
but he was very nice. Because I always try to look for a way in. Although a couple of years ago at Comic-Con, I was there with Will Sasso, and Harrison Ford came into this press area where we were waiting, and I was like, I have to meet Harrison Ford, even if I'm going to embarrass myself or he's mean. I can't be 6 feet away from Harrison Ford and not even attempt it. So I like dodged around like some publicists and got next to him in the sandwich line. But here was my ace in the hole. He had just done 42, the Jackie Robinson movie, and I figured this out. Especially with an older actor, you don't bring up the thing everybody brings up. Like Harrison Ford at Comic-Con, don't mention Han Solo. Just don't. His eyes will immediately glaze over, and he'll go, yeah, okay, yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah. But I had heard that he was instrumental in getting the Jackie Robinson movie made, and I had just seen it, so I mentioned that. And I actually got eye contact. And it's like, oh, really? Well, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. So I talked to Harrison Ford.
That is awesome.
Although I guess I could have told him I was friends with Mark Hamill.
See, there you go.
See, that probably would have been a simpler approach, wouldn't it? Oh, well.
See, the closest to a famous person I've ever gotten was New York Comic Con last year. I got close to the Cookie Monster.
Really?
Yes, and it was awesome.
The puppet or the person?
Both. He had the puppet with him.
That's how you knew who he was. Okay.
I walked past him, I kind of stopped, I turned around, I go, you're the Cookie Monster. And he goes, yes, I am. And I'm like, awesome. And then I had to run off to get to a panel.
Oh, that's so funny. Now, when you see someone with a Cookie Monster at NYCC, are you sure it's the actual one?
Well, they had announced he was going to be there.
Okay. So
everyone was passing out
just like
stuff.
walking out of the bathroom with a puppet on his hand.
He was just walking around the exhibit hall, like, looking at stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and I just ran past and I just kind of stopped. I'm like, whoa! Boom! And then I ran back. He kept running. I came back and I couldn't find him.
That's hilarious.
See, I'm the type, when I meet a famous person, I don't know who they are at first.
Right.
And it's like, I'll start talking to him, because I was also talking to I think it was the executive producer of the Batman movies. He was wearing a shirt that said, once you go Batman, you never go back. I couldn't figure out why all of these other press people were like, oh, you're so awesome to him. And I'm sitting next to him, I go, cool shirt. And we start talking, and then they announce who he is, and I'm sitting there going, I need to learn to read badges.
No, because then you wouldn't have talked to him.
The way I see it is if you talk to a star, normal, they'll respond.
Yeah, if you have something interesting to say, yes. That's it. I mean, people are people, you know.
You can't tell most stars are people, they'll freak out.
No, everybody is the same, you know. Everybody has stuff that they get bored with. Everybody has stuff that they think is cool, And if you go up to anybody and like, if you're at a con and you go up to somebody and ask them about their day job, that's boring. Nobody wants to talk about that. That's a dead end conversation. If you ask them about their costume, obviously that's something they put a lot of work into. Then they're interested. Like the guy's wearing a Batman shirt, that matters to it. That's a great end.
So we can't ask you about your day job?
Well, I think you actually have.
And seeing the time, unfortunately, as much as I'm loving this, it's time for one of my co-hosts to take over the stream.
Okay.
But I do hope you join us again, and I'll probably bug you on Skype sometime.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us, and if you wouldn't mind giving us one little shout out.
What do I say?
I'm Phil LaMarr, and I'm a sinner.
I'm Phil LaMarr, and I'm a sinner.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Sinners.
Thank you, and thanks for everybody who listened to the chat.
And I will talk to you about when we can do the card game.
Okay.
Bye.
Take care, team.